How deep are the mysteries hidden within the very core of human existence, within the flow of blood that courses through each individual's veins? Have many pondered that the concise symbols, 2 letters denoting blood type in medical records, might conceal far more significant meanings capable of unveiling the hidden traits of personality? Carl Jung, the eminent thinker and founder of analytical psychology, once pointed out that the most powerful and meaningful symbols are often hidden in the most ordinary, seemingly inconspicuous phenomena of everyday life. What if a similar principle applies to blood type? What if it's not just a dry medical classification, but something far greater, a unique window into the depths of the collective unconscious? Through it, perhaps the most primal instincts emerge, behavioral patterns are formed, and even, as some suggest, the blueprint of one's life path is laid out. This is an invitation to a captivating exploration where the rigor of scientific inquiry intertwines with the intriguing realm of mystical conjecture. Every drop of blood pulsating in the body could be a key to understanding who a person truly is. If this hypothesis holds true, blood has its own silent language. The only question is, are we ready to hear and interpret it? Perhaps this is where the enigma lies, how biological codes can be inextricably linked to the most subtle nuances of the human psyche. Have people ever experienced an inexplicable feeling of instant closeness with some individuals, or conversely, a profound sense of difference from others? What if, throughout human history, a mysterious code has circulated in their veins, remaining unsolved until now? This is an invitation to an astonishing world where blood analysis can reveal more than just information about one's physical condition. It offers a unique opportunity to decipher the most complex puzzles of human individuality, uncovering profound aspects of who a person truly is. Although Carl Jung never directly addressed the topic of blood types, he proved to be an outstanding researcher of the deep interconnection between the human physical body and its innermost psyche. Jung held the conviction that all people are united by a common unconscious, a universal reservoir of mental images filled with archetypal symbols of immense power. These archetypes, in his view, represent a kind of internal primal personality blueprint inherent in everyone, such as the hero, the sage, the rebel, and many others. For centuries, blood has consistently held deep symbolic meaning in diverse cultures across the globe. Expressions like blood of my blood, blue blood, or hot blood constantly appear in our language, emphasizing its role in metaphorically understanding kinship, status, or temperament. Carl Jung, being a keen connoisseur of the human soul, particularly valued such symbolic manifestations, seeing them not merely as metaphors but as genuine keys to understanding the hidden depths of the human psyche. Simultaneously, on the other side of the world, in Japan, a rather remarkable phenomenon unfolded. In this country, people formed a persistent belief that belonging to a particular blood type, be it A, B, AB, or O, can reveal certain character traits and personal tendencies. This theory, known as Ketsueki Gata, gained such widespread acceptance and became so deeply ingrained in public consciousness that even today, on Japanese dating shows, one often hears the question, "What's your blood type?" It is precisely here that an astonishing potential unfolds. Researchers can draw upon Carl Jung's profound ideas concerning archetypes and apply them to understand what a person's blood type can reveal about their essence. It is akin to discovering an invisible map leading to an understanding of an individual's inner world. Consider this: the vital substance continuously circulating throughout the human body may also carry stable patterns that shape personality traits, define strengths, and even hint at potential challenges. Carl Gustav Jung consistently maintained that understanding our deep behavioral patterns is a key condition for becoming one's true self, a process he called individuation. By exploring one's blood type through the lens of Jungian concepts, an individual does not merely gain access to a set of interesting facts. They take a significant step toward genuine self-knowledge and an awareness of their unique nature. Of particular interest is how this concept relates to human relationships. Many people may have wondered why they easily connect with some individuals and feel an instant rapport, while interaction with others, conversely, causes an inexplicable feeling of energy depletion and emotional discomfort. In this context, potential compatibility aspects based on blood type can offer valuable insights or even unravel the mysteries underlying these sometimes enigmatic interpersonal connections. Ancient wisdom often holds profound truths, skillfully masked by deceptively simple ideas. When one attempts to view the phenomenon of blood types through the lens of Jungian analytical psychology, a remarkable fusion occurs. Centuries of symbolism, cutting-edge modern psychology, and undeniable biological reality unite, forming a single, powerful structure designed for deep self-knowledge. Your blood type, therefore, ceases to be merely a medical indicator determining donor and recipient compatibility. It can serve as a window into the unique, predetermined blueprint of your soul. This biological characteristic by no means limits the potential or possibilities of who a person can become. Rather, it serves as a guiding star, illuminating the path that will likely be most natural and harmonious for a particular individual. So, the next time someone asks for your blood type, you can respond with a knowing smile. For now, it becomes evident that these simple letter designations, A, B, AB, or O, can carry ancient wisdom, revealing what makes each person truly unique. In the following sections, we will delve deeply into the characteristics of each blood type and uncover what insights Jung's archetypes can offer regarding personality traits, relationship dynamics, potential challenges, and innate gifts. Readers are invited to prepare to see themselves and the world around them in a completely new, clearer light. Blood type A, the meticulous architects of society. What is it like to be a representative of blood type A in the vast world of blood archetypes? According to Carl Jung's profound concept, if type A blood circulates in one's veins, this individual may well be a true manifestation of what the eminent psychologist would call the archetype of the perfectionist or the sage. It is likely that, among all known blood types, type A individuals stand out for their exceptional structuredness and methodical approach. Type A individuals often demonstrate a deeply rooted desire for order and detailed planning, which would undoubtedly have attracted Jung's keen attention. There is something akin to an architect's work in their approach to daily life. They meticulously create well-thought-out systems, build reliable structures, and lay out clear paths with extreme conscientiousness. Where most people perceive only chaotic disarray, type A individuals unerringly discern hidden patterns awaiting their organization. Carl Jung firmly held the conviction that every person stores archaic patterns of behavior in their collective unconscious. For individuals with type A blood, these timeless patterns often manifest as an irresistible need for harmony and meticulous organization of their surroundings. Just think, do they find themselves straightening objects that are out of place? Do they experience true satisfaction when absolutely everything is arranged in strict order? This is not a mere quirk or personal peculiarity. Rather, it serves as a powerful archetypal manifestation deeply rooted in their essence. The Japanese Ketsueki Gata theory offers a unique description of personality characteristics, asserting that type A individuals exhibit qualities such as responsibility, seriousness, and methodicalness. These traits harmonize remarkably well with the Jungian understanding of the perfectionist archetype. Such a correlation is not a mere coincidence. Rather, it testifies to how various cultural systems independently identify and describe the same universal patterns of human behavior. Individuals belonging to blood type A typically possess a deep and rich inner world, a trait that Carl Jung would likely attribute to their innate introversion. Such people often prefer to carefully consider their words before speaking and highly value the depth and substance of a conversation over its superficial breadth. This natural inclination for reflection makes them excellent listeners and endows them with an almost intuitive ability to grasp complex systems and abstract concepts. Their inherent attention to detail could be characterized, according to Jung, as a dominant function, a unique gift that makes them exceptionally suited to identifying inconsistencies and continuously refining various processes. While others may approach tasks with a certain carelessness, Type A individuals apply a meticulous and systematic approach, ensuring consistently high quality and flawless execution. The archetype of the sage, which deeply resonates with Type A individuals, is inextricably intertwined with wisdom gained through thoughtful observation and profound reflection. Representatives of this group tend to meticulously accumulate knowledge, building a holistic and comprehensive understanding of the world, rather than simply collecting scattered information unsystematically. This approach makes them not only erudite, but genuinely wise, endowed with a unique ability to grasp non-obvious interconnections that elude the attention of most. Carl Jung would undoubtedly have been particularly interested in how Type A individuals regulate their internal emotional states. They tend to process feelings and experiences deeply internally before these emotions are expressed externally, preferring a complete and comprehensive understanding of their own emotional landscape before presenting it to others. Such behavior should not be perceived as a manifestation of emotional detachment or coldness, but rather as a sign of deep thoughtfulness and a desire for a conscious response instead of thoughtless, impulsive actions. In the realm of interpersonal relationships, the characteristic behavioral pattern inherent in Type A individuals often takes the form of unwavering loyalty and deep commitment. Once their careful judgment leads them to conclude that someone truly deserves their trust, they tend to invest significant emotional energy and effort into these relationships. Jung would have seen this as a vivid embodiment of their comprehensive and integrated approach to being. The same meticulousness and attention to detail they demonstrate in professional tasks or work projects fully extend to the process of building and carefully maintaining interpersonal relationships. As Carl Jung asserted, every archetypal force inevitably possesses its hidden facet, or shadow side. For those belonging to blood type A, this shadow often manifests in the form of perfectionism that can become disorienting and paralyzing, or as deep anxiety stemming from an insatiable need to control events in an unpredictable world. Jung insisted that the meaningful recognition and integration of these shadow aspects are absolutely essential for achieving complete psychological integrity of the personality. The inherent tendency of Type A individuals towards self-analysis and self-criticism could be interpreted by Jung as the introversion of the judging function, that is, an internal, exclusively self-directed system of evaluation. This characteristic represents a unique combination of valuable advantage and serious challenge. In a balanced state, it serves as a powerful stimulus, prompting a continuous pursuit of excellence. However, when out of balance, this same tendency can transform into a relentless inner critic that deprives a person of peace of mind. In the professional sphere, Type A individuals often demonstrate outstanding success in roles that demand exceptional precision, meticulous planning, and keen attention to the smallest details. Jung would view this as a natural and harmonious manifestation of their dominant psychological functions. Whether a researcher, editor, accountant, or surgeon, their innate meticulousness proves immensely beneficial. These are the people who are fully trusted to perform work flawlessly, and they approach this responsibility with the utmost seriousness. The cautious approach to decision-making, characteristic of certain personalities, could well have been identified by Carl Jung as their dominant thinking function. This process involves a slow but deeply logical and systematic evaluation of all available options before choosing a path forward. And while for more impulsive individuals such prudence may sometimes be mistakenly perceived as indecisiveness or even slowness, in reality it is the embodiment of exceptional thoroughness. It is this meticulousness that ultimately ensures the achievement of the most optimal and high-quality results. Individuals with Type A blood often display a fascinating and sometimes paradoxical duality in their attitude towards established rules and traditions. On one hand, they genuinely value structure, order, and clear, unambiguous guidelines that provide predictability and stability. However, on the other hand, these same individuals can quite persistently question prescriptions or norms that, in their opinion, lack adequate logical justification or seem impractical. Carl Jung would likely interpret this as a manifestation of a healthy internal tension arising between their dominant and auxiliary psychological functions. In this context, their innate need for orderliness and predictability is harmoniously balanced by powerful, analytical thinking that constantly seeks meaning and expediency. The philosophy expressed in the aphorism, "less is more," remarkably often resonates deeply with individuals belonging to blood type A. They are characterized by a pronounced tendency to prioritize quality over quantity in almost all areas of life. This manifests not only in relation to material possessions, where they choose a few, but highly valuable items, but also in interpersonal relationships, where priority is given to deep, meaningful connections over a wide circle of superficial acquaintances. The same applies to life experiences. They seek rich, meaningful experiences rather than simply accumulating diverse but shallow impressions. Carl Jung, analyzing such behavioral patterns, would most likely associate this characteristic with their innate introversion and natural orientation towards comprehending the depth of phenomena, rather than superficially encompassing them on a broad scale. For individuals with blood type A, stress often arises in situations where the accustomed order is disrupted or when the ideal of perfection seems unattainable. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung would undoubtedly recognize in such reactions the activation of the so-called inferior function, that component of the human personality that is least developed and, as a result, most susceptible to emotional reaction. Consequently, one of the key directions for these individuals' personal development becomes mastering the art of accepting imperfection. It is in this aspect that significant potential for their inner growth and harmonization lies. Carl Jung, an eminent thinker in the field of depth psychology, was firmly convinced that the path to achieving psychological wholeness, which he called individuation, necessarily requires a comprehensive integration of all aspects of the self without exception. This includes even those traits and manifestations that may be perceived as uncomfortable, alien, or causing internal resistance. For type A individuals, such a process often involves consciously embracing spontaneity, acknowledging the inevitability of imperfection, and, no less importantly, developing the ability to let go of excessive control over situations and events. This allows them to achieve greater inner harmony. It is noteworthy that many individuals with blood type A often observe a curious phenomenon. Over the years, they gradually gain greater composure and inner peace, becoming less tense. Such an observation, from Jung's perspective, represents a natural and lawful process of personality development unfolding over time. It is explained by the fact that less dominant functions, previously in the shadow, gradually integrate into the overall structure of the psyche, becoming more accessible and functional, which contributes to a general sense of harmony and relaxation. The need to seek meaningful activity is not merely a personal preference or a fleeting desire. On the contrary, it represents a profound, archetypal manifestation of the innate human drive to order the world, transforming chaos into a coherent system. The distinguished psychoanalyst Carl Jung would undoubtedly recognize this as a crucial component on an individual's path to self-realization, an irresistible need to unleash their unique talents and abilities, putting them to the service of goals that significantly transcend personal interests. One of the most remarkable manifestations characteristic of individuals matching the type A pattern is their astonishing ability to construct and implement systems designed to bring significant benefit to others. Whether this is demonstrated in the meticulous organization of a complex family celebration, in the development and improvement of work processes to enhance their efficiency, or in the formation of a balanced and truly functional financial plan, their unique gifts often extend beyond personal well-being, actively contributing to improving the quality of life for those around them. Nevertheless, Carl Jung would likely emphasize that belonging to a specific blood type is not a determinant of one's entire life's destiny. It merely serves as an indicator of certain archetypal patterns of behavior and thought that may feel more intuitive or natural for a particular individual. The true path of individuation, the process of becoming a whole person, involves not only deep respect for these innate inclinations and predispositions, but also, when necessary, the ability to consciously transcend them. The key to the full development and flourishing of human potential lies in the ability to find a harmonious balance between ordered structure and free spontaneity. It should be remembered that in the context of Jungian psychology, the true goal of human development is not perfect conformity to a predetermined type, but rather the attainment of one's holistic, authentic self. While, for example, belonging to blood type A may subtly hint at certain innate tendencies, it is conscious decisions and the life path that ultimately shape the narrative of who a person becomes. In this light, we now turn to blood type B, which can be characterized as the group of intuitive explorers of uncharted horizons. What mysteries lie within the very essence of individuals whose blood belongs to type B? According to the proposed Jungian interpretation, those who belong to the relatively small cohort of type B individuals can potentially embody traits that Carl Jung would likely recognize as the archetype of the explorer or even the rebel. It is highly probable that they exhibit the greatest degree of independence and a striking capacity for adaptation among all known blood types. In stark contrast to the strict and orderly approach characteristic of type A individuals, type B carriers often demonstrate a remarkable fluidity in their life path, which would undoubtedly have deeply interested Jung himself. There is something almost chameleon-like within them, an innate ability to adapt with extraordinary ease to constantly changing conditions, a quality many others might only envy. Where most people tend to perceive unyielding boundaries and rigid frameworks, type B individuals see boundless possibilities and alluring, yet-to-be-explored territories, like true pioneers of consciousness. Carl Jung, the eminent thinker, asserted that archetypes are comprehensive, universal patterns of behavior that permeate various cultural contexts and know no boundaries. For individuals with blood type B, these deep patterns often manifest as innate curiosity and a strong openness to diverse experiences. Do such people feel an unwavering attraction to innovative ideas, unexplored places, and unusual experiences? Do they feel most vital and energetic precisely when discovering something fundamentally new? This is not merely a sign of restlessness or inconsistency. Rather, it is a deeply rooted archetypal drive for relentless exploration of the world around them and self-discovery. Notably, the Japanese Ketsueki Gata concept describes type B individuals as creative, passionate, and independent, qualities that harmonize remarkably well with the Jungian interpretation of the explorer archetype. This cross-cultural correlation, observed in entirely different symbolic systems, eloquently points to something fundamental in the energetic profile of blood type B that appears to be universally recognized and understood. If a person belongs to blood type B, it is highly probable that they possess a natural versatility, a quality that Jung might interpret as a highly developed extroverted sensing function. Such individuals are capable of instantly shifting gears, adapting with astonishing ease to new circumstances and changing situations. This outstanding adaptability is by no means a sign of frivolity or superficiality. On the contrary, it is an invaluable gift that allows them not only to survive, but also to thrive successfully in our rapidly changing and dynamic world. The ability of an individual to think beyond conventional boundaries would undoubtedly have deeply impressed Carl Jung, who highly valued unconventional and creative approaches to solving complex problems. Where most individuals tend to stick to well-trodden paths and established templates, such individuals are very likely to forge their own unique path, guided by an inner compass. This inner compass unerringly points them towards genuine, authentic experiences, while ignoring societal expectations and conventions. The creative energy that seems to flow so naturally in people with type B blood is closely linked to what Jung called the transcendent function, the unique ability of the psyche to generate entirely new original solutions through the masterful integration of seemingly opposite or incompatible ideas. The minds of such individuals effortlessly forge connections between seemingly disparate concepts, granting them an undeniable advantage in creative problem-solving and innovative thinking. Jung would undoubtedly find particular interest in how individuals with blood type B relate to rules and various structures. These personalities tend to view rules more as flexible guidelines rather than absolute unyielding commandments. They prefer to evaluate each specific situation based on its unique merits and circumstances rather than rigidly applying immutable, universal principles. This flexibility in approach can sometimes be misinterpreted as rebellion or defiance by more conservative types, but in reality it represents a far more contextual and profound approach to ethics and moral dilemmas. In interpersonal relationships, individuals with blood type B often bring an extraordinary sincerity and genuine authenticity. The eminent psychoanalyst Carl Jung would undoubtedly see this as a healthy and natural manifestation of their feeling function, an internal capacity to deeply recognize their values and convictions and then express them directly without excessive filtering or self-censorship. Such uncompromising straightforwardness can certainly be a source of certain difficulties, but also a truly refreshing quality for those around them. The explorer archetype, which deeply resonates with individuals of blood type B, is inextricably linked with an insatiable thirst for freedom and a drive for new discoveries, venturing into unknown territory and bringing back valuable insights. They are irresistibly drawn to the edges of maps, be they literal geographical boundaries or metaphorical limits of knowledge, driven by an unquenchable curiosity about what lies beyond the familiar and known world. However, as Jung would always remind us, every powerful archetypal force inevitably carries its shadow side. For individuals with blood type B, this shadow often manifests as an inner restlessness that can seriously hinder the completion of long-term projects, or as a strong resistance to commitments, which in turn can negatively impact their relationships. Jung firmly believed that conscious recognition of these shadow aspects is crucial for achieving true psychological wholeness. Carl Jung would undoubtedly characterize the pronounced independence of individuals with blood type B as a manifestation of the extroverted intuitive function. This is an outwardly directed exploration of the world and its potential, representing both a significant gift and a potential challenge. When this function is in harmonious balance, it leads to breakthroughs, innovation, and new discoveries. However, in a state of imbalance, it can devolve into a ceaseless search for novelty that unfortunately prevents achieving true depth in any endeavor. In professional environments, people with blood type B very often succeed in roles that demand unconventional creative thinking, high adaptability, and a unique ability to effectively interact with a wide variety of people and ideas. Jung would certainly see this as a natural and organic expression of their dominant psychological functions. Whether a person is an entrepreneur, a talented artist, a perceptive journalist, or a skilled consultant, their inherent versatility and excellent communication skills serve them well and contribute to their success. Their approach to decision-making reflects what Jung would likely call their intuitive function, a comprehensive, holistic assessment that involves considering countless possibilities before a final decision is made. And while for more structured personality types, this approach may sometimes appear as mere indecisiveness, in reality, it is a manifestation of meticulousness and thoroughness that allows them to notice options and perspectives that remain unseen by others. Individuals with blood type B often demonstrate a peculiar and sometimes surprising connection to time. They may possess an almost mystical ability to deeply immerse themselves in the present moment, fully surrendering to ongoing events. The renowned psychoanalyst Carl Jung would likely regard this as a healthy manifestation of their sensing function, an innate capacity to perceive reality fully and completely without allowing thoughts of the past or future to excessively distract their attention. The concept of going with the flow often deeply resonates with individuals of blood type B. They typically show a tendency to trust the natural course of events, preferring not to strive for total control over every outcome or result. Carl Jung would likely explain this trait as stemming from their highly developed intuition and innate ability to adapt to uncertainty, finding not a threat but potential for growth within it. For individuals with blood type B, stress often arises when they feel constrained by rigid frameworks or immersed in a monotonous, unvarying routine. The renowned Swiss psychiatrist and thinker Carl Jung would undoubtedly recognize this as a manifestation of their inferior function. that aspect of the personality which is least developed and consequently most prone to reactivity and vulnerability. Thus, mastering the art of harmoniously combining personal freedom with assumed commitments can become one of the most significant and fruitful areas for their personal growth and development. Jung, a distinguished thinker, asserted that achieving psychological wholeness is inextricably linked to the harmonious integration of all facets of the human self, including those aspects that may initially seem less natural or even cause discomfort. For individuals with blood type B, this process often involves developing a certain structure and routine in daily life, while it is tremendously important to preserve their innate spontaneity and remarkable adaptability, which are their fundamental traits. Notably, many blood type B individuals, by their own accounts, begin to show significantly greater appreciation for the order of routine and thoughtful planning as they age. Carl Jung would undoubtedly interpret this phenomenon as a natural and lawful development of their personality. Throughout life, as those functions that were initially less dominant gradually achieve a greater degree of integration and become more accessible for conscious use. Their profound need for a sense of genuine, meaningful freedom is not merely a fleeting preference or whim, rather, it represents a powerful, archetypal expression of their irrepressible drive to explore the entire vast spectrum of human experience. Jung would, without a doubt, recognize this as a fundamental part of their individual journey of individuation, an inner, vital need to fully realize and express their unique gifts and talents, freeing themselves from any unnecessary or restrictive limitations. One of the most exceptional and truly invaluable aspects inherent in the blood type B pattern is their unique ability to masterfully connect diverse worlds and seemingly incompatible perspectives. Whether it's the skill of uniting different social groups, fostering the synthesis of profoundly diverse ideas, or expertly adapting ancient wisdom to current modern contexts, their exceptional gifts consistently contribute to creating invaluable connections that bring tangible benefit and enrich everyone around them. Jung would undoubtedly emphasize that belonging to a specific blood type by no means predetermines one's destiny. It merely serves as an indicator of certain archetypal patterns that a person may perceive as more natural or intuitively understandable. The path of individuation, according to his teachings, implies not only a careful embrace of these innate tendencies, but also the purposeful development of complementary qualities. The essence lies in achieving a harmonious balance between inner freedom and external structure, which ultimately allows for full humanity to flourish at its highest potential. It is important to remember that from a Jungian perspective, the ultimate goal is not to embody an ideal fixed type. The true goal is to become a whole, authentic self. While your blood type B may whisper of a predisposition to certain tendencies, it is the individual's conscious choices that ultimately build the narrative of who he or she will become. Blood type AB, the enigmatic carriers of duality. What mysterious depths lie hidden within those who carry blood type AB? In the context of our Jungian interpretation, if a person belongs to this rarest blood type in the world, comprising only about 4% of the global population, they may well embody what Jung would recognize as the diplomat or mediator archetype. This type is arguably the most inherently complex and multifaceted among all known blood groups. Blood type AB is of significant interest not only from a purely biological but also from a deeply symbolic perspective. It is a truly unique blood type that contains both A and B antigens, which in itself is a striking physical embodiment of duality. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung would undoubtedly have been fascinated by this remarkable biological synthesis of opposing elements, as it perfectly harmonizes with his fundamental concept of conjunctio oppositorum, the idea of integrating opposing forces, which he deemed absolutely essential for achieving true psychological wholeness. Carl Jung believed that every individual contains a certain inner multiplicity, but for individuals with blood type AB, this multiplicity seems to be embedded directly in their genetic code, in their very blood. Perhaps people with this blood type sometimes feel they contain many different aspects of personality that manifest in various life situations. or they perceive and process a wide range of diverse viewpoints with surprising ease. Such a phenomenon is not a sign of inconsistency or contradictoriness. On the contrary, it is a profound archetypal manifestation of inner integration. The Japanese theory of Ketsueki Gata characterizes individuals with blood type AB as deeply thoughtful, at times enigmatic, and multifaceted personalities. These traits remarkably align with the Jungian interpretation of the mediator archetype. Such a consistent characteristic, observed across various cultural contexts, suggests something essential and fundamental inherent in the very energy of blood type AB, transcending the boundaries of individual belief systems or cultural doctrines. Individuals whose blood belongs to type AB often demonstrate an innate propensity for comprehensive analysis of any situation, a quality that the eminent psychologist Carl Jung might have identified as a highly developed perceiving function. Such individuals are capable of simultaneously comprehending diametrically opposed viewpoints without feeling an immediate need to lean towards one. This cognitive fluidity is not a sign of indecisiveness. On the contrary, it represents a sophisticated form of thought process that acknowledges the validity of even those positions that at first glance seem mutually exclusive. These individuals' ability to adapt to diverse social circumstances would undoubtedly have captivated Jung, whose curiosity about human psychological flexibility was boundless. Unlike many who strive to present an unchanging personality across all life contexts, individuals with blood type AB possess a unique trait. They can subtly modify their behavior and mannerisms depending on the specific situation. This should not be perceived as a manifestation of insincerity or pretense, but rather as an organic and natural response to the specifics of different environments, allowing them to fit harmoniously into any setting. The creative problem-solving process, which for people with blood type AB is often intuitive, is closely related to a concept Jung called active imagination. This unique mental capacity allows the mind to freely experiment with various possibilities and effortlessly generate innovative approaches to dilemmas. Their thought process typically functions less by direct, linear logic and more by association, fostering the formation of unconventional connections and insights that remain unnoticed by most. Carl Jung would undoubtedly have taken a special interest in how individuals with blood type AB construct their identity. Throughout their lives, carriers of this rare blood type may experience a distinct feeling that they are quite difficult to definitively define or categorize, as they don't always neatly fit into the conventional frameworks that others seem to occupy with such ease. This unique liminal quality existing at the threshold between worlds can sometimes be perceived as a complexity or challenge, but in reality it represents an exceptional gift, allowing these individuals to serve as a kind of bridge, connecting often vastly different worlds and perspectives. In interpersonal relationships, individuals with blood type AB often demonstrate outstanding empathy and deep understanding. In this, Jung would likely see a healthy and wholesome manifestation of their feeling function, an innate ability to finely tune into the emotional states of others and respond to them with remarkable sensitivity and delicacy. This developed empathetic capacity makes them indispensable and highly valued friends, as well as reliable partners, although sometimes such receptiveness can lead them to too easily and deeply immerse themselves in others' emotions, at times unconsciously absorbing them. The mediator archetype, which deeply resonates with the characteristics of individuals possessing blood type AB, is inextricably linked to the ability to bridge existing disagreements and find common ground where most others see only irreconcilable opposition. Such individuals often act as those capable of masterfully translating between different viewpoints, thereby helping people to understand and accept perspectives that they might otherwise hastily dismiss or ignore. Their role is to foster mutual understanding and harmonize interests. However, Carl Jung, with his characteristic insight, would certainly remind us that every archetypal force inevitably possesses its shadow. For individuals with blood type AB, this shadow often manifests as deep inner contradiction, potentially leading to an absolute inability to make decisions, or as excessive, chameleon-like adaptability that can effectively obscure a person's true essence. Jung firmly believed that the awareness and acknowledgement of these shadow aspects are cornerstones on the path to achieving full psychological integration and inner harmony. Jung might interpret the inclination of individuals with blood type AB towards complex thought processes and multifacetedness as a manifestation of the introverted intuitive function, an inwardly directed, deep exploration of countless possibilities and potential scenarios. This quality, in his view, can be both a greatest gift and a serious challenge. In a state of balance, it leads to incredibly profound insights and stimulates outstanding creativity. However, in case of imbalance, this function can transform into endless, exhausting deliberation that never reaches any concrete conclusion or practical outcome. In the professional sphere, individuals with blood type AB often achieve significant success in roles requiring subtle diplomacy, effective communication between various parties, and a unique ability to synthesize the most diverse, at times contradictory, ideas. Jung would undoubtedly see this as a natural and harmonious expression of their dominant psychological functions. Whether a conflict resolution specialist, a creative professional, a consultant, or a cultural interpreter, their innate complexity of thought and high adaptability consistently serve them well, enabling them to effectively handle the most unusual tasks. Their approach to decision-making profoundly characterizes what Carl Jung would likely designate as their intuitive feeling axis, a complex process that comprehensively weighs both available possibilities and fundamental values before definitively determining a specific course of action. While at times, such a method may be perceived as overly intricate by those of more straightforward personality types, in reality, it exemplifies deep meticulousness. It is precisely this thoroughness that consistently leads to more nuanced, balanced, and consequently, significantly more stable and enduring decisions. Individuals with blood type AB often demonstrate a remarkable dynamic in their relationship with the concept of boundaries. Their inner being is typically able to transition with greater ease than most others between various social worlds, specialized professional fields, or diverse cultural contexts. Carl Jung would undoubtedly see this as a manifestation of the healthy and complete expression of their flexible ego boundaries, an innate ability to expand their self-perception to harmoniously incorporate a wide range of diverse experiences. The concept of both and, in contrast to a rigid either-or, often finds a powerful and deep resonance with individuals belonging to blood type AB. They have a pronounced tendency to resist artificial false dichotomies as they clearly perceive the truth, which typically lies in the harmonious unification of seemingly contradictory viewpoints. Carl Jung would likely explain this as their organic predisposition to his fundamental concept of the transcendence of opposites. For individuals of blood type AB, feelings of inattention and stress often arise when life circumstances compel them to simplify multifaceted situations into unequivocal answers, or when they find themselves in conditions prescribing strict, unswerving sequences of actions. The eminent psychologist Carl Jung would undoubtedly recognize in such moments the activation of the so-called inferior function, that component of the human psyche which is by nature the least developed and consequently most prone to reactive behavior. Mastering the ability to embrace their innate complexity while simultaneously forming clear and considered decisions can become one of the key areas for their personal and psychological development. Jung, for his part, asserted that achieving true psychological wholeness requires the unconditional acceptance of all facets of one's self, including even those that at first glance seem internally contradictory or incompatible. In the context of individuals with blood type AB, who naturally embody this contradiction embedded in their very biological foundation, the path to self-knowledge may lie not so much in integrating opposites, which for them is to some extent a natural process, but rather in finding and asserting their authentic essence amidst this multifaceted and diverse inner reality. It is noteworthy that many individuals with blood type AB report a significant strengthening of their resolve and greater clarity in defining life goals as they age. Carl Jung would undoubtedly see this phenomenon as a natural and lawful process of human personality development throughout life, as their less dominant psychic functions gradually achieve greater integration and become more accessible for conscious use and management. The human inner need to form meaningful connections between apparent differences is not a mere preference or fleeting desire. It represents a profound archetypal expression of the striving to heal existing divisions and to create genuine wholeness. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung would undoubtedly recognize this aspiration as an integral part of the individual's path to self-realization, an inner necessity to manifest their unique gifts and abilities by uniting elements that for many others remain disparate or even contradictory. One of the most valuable aspects inherent in the blood type AB pattern is the exceptional ability to hold paradoxical phenomena in consciousness without succumbing to the temptation to resolve them prematurely or simplistically. In a modern world that often insistently seeks easy and unambiguous answers to exceedingly complex questions, a person's ability to cope with ambiguity, perceive the subtlest nuances, and integrate them into their understanding becomes increasingly sought after and significant. This unique tolerance for uncertainty and capacity for synthesis is a genuine advantage. Carl Jung would, however, consistently emphasize that an individual's blood type by no means predetermines their ultimate fate or life path. It merely points to the existence of certain archetypal patterns or predispositions that may feel more natural and harmonious to a particular person. The true path of individuation, the process of becoming a whole person, involves both a deep respect for these natural inclinations and the purposeful development of greater clarity regarding one's fundamental values and authentic identity. It is a complex balance between self-acceptance and active self-improvement. In the context of Jungian psychology, it is important to remember that the ultimate goal is not to resolve or eliminate all internal contradictions that may torment the human soul. On the contrary, the true task is to fully accept them, recognizing them as an integral part of one's holistic self. And while, for example, blood type AB may subtly hint at tendencies towards complexity and integration within the personality, it is the individual's conscious choices made throughout life that ultimately write the unique story of who he or she will become. Blood type O, the primal warriors of the collective unconscious. From ancient times, what mighty force, what primal energy pulses through the veins of those with blood type O? In the context of our Jungian concept, if a person belongs to the most common blood type in the world, comprising approximately 45% of the global population, then they may well embody what Carl Gustav Jung would undoubtedly identify as the warrior or hero archetype. This archetype is arguably the most primal and instinctively powerful among all those associated with various blood types, embodying ancient impulses and aspirations. Blood type O presents an astonishingly intriguing subject of study, viewed from both evolutionary and deeply symbolic perspectives. It is universally recognized as the original primordial human blood type, from which all others are believed to have descended. This circumstance establishes a direct and unbreakable biological link with our most ancient ancestors, reaching back into the depths of human history. Such a primal, fundamental characteristic would undoubtedly have sparked deep interest in Jung himself, for it directly correlates with his fundamental concept of the collective unconscious, those vast, deepest strata of the human psyche that serve as an invisible yet powerful bridge connecting us to our shared evolutionary past. Carl Jung, the eminent psychoanalyst, asserted that profound imprints of our species' entire developmental history are present within every individual. For those with type O blood, a profound and evident connection to an ancient ancestral past often manifests with particular intensity. It's frequently observed that such individuals display a deep, almost instinctive confidence in situations where others might hesitate or waver. They naturally move to action while others are still engrossed in contemplation and analysis. It's crucial to note that this behavior should not be mistaken for reckless impulsivity. Rather, it represents a deep and powerful archetypal expression of the warrior energy embedded within the collective unconscious. Remarkably, within the Japanese theory of Ketsueki-gata, which links personality traits to blood types, individuals with type O blood are described as possessing high self-confidence, exceptional resilience, and innate leadership qualities. These characteristics surprisingly align perfectly with the Jungian understanding of the hero archetype, which symbolizes overcoming obstacles and achieving goals. This remarkable congruence in the description of type O individuals, observed across such diverse cultural systems, suggests the existence of a fundamental universal quality in their inherent energy that transcends specific cultural frameworks and national peculiarities. Those with type O blood appear to be endowed with natural decisiveness, a quality Carl Jung would likely have characterized as a highly developed judging function. Such individuals are capable of swiftly analyzing situations and immediately moving to action without losing time in excessive or prolonged deliberation. It's important to emphasize that this decisiveness is not a manifestation of recklessness or thoughtlessness. On the contrary, it represents a valuable gift that allows them to respond to challenges with extreme efficiency and timeliness, especially when external circumstances urgently demand immediate and resolute steps. Their unwavering ability to concentrate on tasks, despite obstacles, would undoubtedly have deeply impressed Carl Jung, who highly valued qualities such as steadfast persistence and unyielding spiritual resilience. In situations where many others might succumb to despair and change course, type O individuals are likely to press forward resolutely, guided by an unshakable inner determination that compels them to confront challenges head-on rather than avoid them. The natural inclination toward leadership inherent in people with type O blood is inextricably linked to what Carl Jung called the archetypal hero, an aspect of the psyche that courageously and directly confronts any challenges, serving as a source of inspiration for others and prompting them to follow. Their energetic potential typically stands out for its straightforwardness and assertiveness, which naturally makes them the individuals others often turn to for support and guidance during times of adversity and trial. Jung would also have found particular interest in the interaction of type O individuals with the tangible physical world. They often exhibit a deep and strong connection to their own bodies, gravitate towards physical activity, and feel a close kinship with the natural environment. This quality, characterized by deep-rootedness, allows them to remain firmly connected to the present moment, to the here and now. Such embodied awareness, where understanding manifests through physical being, aligns perfectly with the Jungian concept, emphasizing the fundamental importance of a harmonious mind-body connection. In interpersonal relationships, individuals with type O blood often bring exceptional clarity and directness. The eminent psychoanalyst Carl Jung would likely have seen this as a healthy and harmonious manifestation of their thinking-feeling axis, that inner capacity which allows them to clearly recognize their desires and then express them directly, avoiding unnecessary complexities and ambiguities. Such transparency in communication can undoubtedly be both challenging and refreshing for others, requiring them to adapt accordingly to this straightforward style of interaction. The warrior archetype, deeply resonant with the personality traits of type O individuals, carries a powerful charge of protection, unwavering courage, and decisive direct action. These individuals tend to face life's battles with enviable strength and unyielding determination, not retreating in the face of difficulties. They are often the ones who bravely take on challenges that others try to avoid, demonstrating a natural and deep confidence in their own ability to overcome any obstacles in their path. However, as Jung would rightly remind us, every archetypal force, no matter how powerful, inevitably carries its shadow side. For type O individuals, this shadow often manifests as unyielding stubbornness, which can actively resist necessary changes and adaptation to new conditions. It can also express itself as outbursts of aggression when confronted with frustration or obstacles. Jung firmly believed that a deep awareness and acknowledgement of these shadow aspects are paramount for achieving genuine psychological balance and inner harmony. The pronounced drive for action inherent in Type O individuals could have been termed by Carl Jung as extroverted sensing. This outwardly directed interaction with the tangible world is both a significant advantage and a potential challenge. When this function is in a harmonious state, it leads to highly effective actions and the achievement of tangible practical results. However, when out of balance, it can manifest as impulsiveness, potentially leading to the oversight of important details and subtleties. In professional settings, Type O individuals often achieve outstanding success in roles requiring strong leadership qualities, mastery in crisis management, and the ability to maintain extreme focus under significant pressure. Jung would undoubtedly have seen this as an organic manifestation of their dominant psychological functions. Whether these individuals work in emergency services, engage in sports, lead business structures, or represent interests in law, their innate decisiveness and admirable resilience serve as a reliable foundation and bring undeniable benefits. Their approach to problem-solving reflects what Jung would likely have called the sensing-thinking axis, a process in which concrete realities are quickly assessed before the most appropriate and effective response is determined. While this method may sometimes seem overly simplistic to individuals with more complex or introverted thought processes, it is, in fact, highly efficient, allowing for timely and necessary action precisely when required. Individuals with Type O blood often demonstrate a remarkable attitude towards tradition and innovation. They typically deeply respect established practices and time-tested methods, yet they always remain open to decisive changes, especially when current approaches clearly cease to be effective. The eminent psychologist Carl Gustav Jung would likely have recognized in such a behavioral pattern a harmonious balance between a deep connection to humanity's accumulated collective wisdom and a highly practical, sober view of the current state of affairs and the pressing needs of reality. The idea encapsulated in the concise phrase, "just do it," often resonates deeply with the worldview of Type O individuals. These individuals generally prefer active engagement over excessively prolonged or overly detailed analysis. They firmly believe that movement and direct involvement in a process contribute to clarity of thought and understanding of a situation. According to Carl Jung, such a characteristic could be explained by their innate, almost instinctive connection to the wisdom of their own bodies, as well as an outstanding ability for direct and immediate interaction with the surrounding world and emerging tasks. For Type O individuals, stress often arises and manifests most acutely when they are forced to remain in circumstances requiring prolonged inaction, or when they encounter excessive complexity and multifaceted situations before any decision can be made. The eminent psychoanalyst Jung would undoubtedly recognize in such reactions the activation of the so-called inferior function, an aspect of the personality that is least developed and consequently most prone to reactive behavior. Therefore, mastering the art of harmoniously combining active engagement with deep, thoughtful reflection can become one of the most significant and fruitful areas of personal development and growth for these individuals. Carl Jung believed that achieving psychological wholeness requires the comprehensive integration of all facets of the self, including those that may seem less familiar or comfortable. For Type O individuals, this often implies developing an enhanced ability to navigate ambiguity and the multifaceted nature of the world, while consistently maintaining their inherent purposefulness and clarity of thought. Many Type O individuals report gaining greater composure and subtlety in their thinking as they mature. Jung would undoubtedly view this as the organic development of personality over time, as their less expressed psychological functions gradually integrate and become more accessible for use. The deep urge for serious challenges in individuals with this blood type is not merely a personal preference. It is an inherent, archetypal manifestation of their desire to test their own capabilities and to grow by overcoming emerging barriers. Jung would undoubtedly recognize this as a vital part of the individuation process, an inner necessity to express one's fighting spirit in a way that contributes to overall well-being. One of the most significant and valuable aspects inherent in the Type O blood pattern is the ability of individuals who possess it to mobilize energy and inspire others when circumstances demand it, and decisive action is necessary. In a modern world often paralyzed by excessive complexity and widespread indecision, this unique gift, the ability to cut through the veil of uncertainty and confidently move forward, is becoming increasingly valuable. Carl Jung would undoubtedly emphasize that a person's blood type is not a predetermined factor of their destiny. It merely serves as an indication of certain archetypal patterns that may feel more natural and inherent to the individual. The true path of individuation, according to his teachings, involves both deep respect for these natural inclinations and the purposeful development of complementary qualities. It is a process of finding a delicate balance between active engagement and deep reflection, which allows the individual's full humanity to flourish and unfold in all its multifaceted richness. It should be remembered that from a Jungian perspective, the ultimate goal is not to perfectly embody any specific type. The goal is to become one's whole, authentic self. While type O blood may subconsciously hint at tendencies toward directness and decisive action, it is a person's conscious choices that ultimately write the unique story of who he or she will become. Human blood, as is known, delivers essential oxygen to its cells, yet there is a suggestion that it also contains a subtle whisper of one's deepest, true nature. What if the path to self-discovery, to becoming who one is meant to be, has flowed through their veins their entire life? As the eminent thinker Carl Jung once observed, great and important symbols often remain unnoticed, hidden in plain sight. The next time an individual feels an inexplicable pull towards certain behaviors or persistent patterns, they should listen carefully to this inner calling, for it might be speaking not only their conscious mind, but also ancient archetypal wisdom, skillfully encoded within their very blood, tirelessly guiding them toward who they were always destined to become. The question then arises, will they answer this mysterious call?